Okay, I know I shouldn't ought have done it with my 1937 Austin 7, right? And I think I already did a little video maybe earlier on this one, or an earlier video that I'll post. I thought I'd blown the cylinder head gasket on this thing, put a new cylinder head gasket on it, and it, on the face of it, seemed to fix it. Now, when I was screwing around looking at what the new cylinder head gasket and such, fitting it on, I came across this, on the front of the engine. Half the fan's missing, and I thought, oh well, it must have happened, right? So did it hit the radiator? It looks as if there's some marks on that radiator for sure, right? So I started rooting around. I do have another fan. These things are about $100 if I send over to the UK, but either my dad gave me this or I took it off the junker, right? I don't honestly remember. Anyway, so I'm going to fit the new 2-blade fan. You can get 4-blade fans, but I have this one, right? So I'm not going to spend $100 if I don't need to. It was a bit of a hassle getting that out. This gubbins here fits through there, right? So, and then the fan belt goes on. There goes the broken fan. That's okay, it's broken anyway. The fan belt goes on there. Okay, so I had to drain the radiator. I just filled it. So I drained it, made a big mess on the floor. Of course I made a big mess on the floor. It missed the container completely. So I could, take this top bolt off and just lean the radiator forward, right? There wasn't enough clearance to get this out of here. It's quite a long shaft. You should know that there's a split pin in the back of that. Of course, all you veterans know that, right? There's a split pin on the back. And of course, this is a cotter pin, right? So I loosened that and the shaft was sliding back and forth. But the interesting thing is that fan fits on here, on the end, right? When I, took this off, this whole slider thing off, right? I tried to get the fan off. Let me show you the bolts that come out of it. I didn't do that. That's the way it was, right? Now, I did unscrew that, but it didn't really unscrew. Maybe a couple of threads, and it just pulled out. I think it used to be a screw, a machine screw of some sort. Now, that might have got hammered when the fan hit something and broke, maybe. But look at the end of the fan, you don't see any, do you? See any kind of, scuff marks on the fan? I don't know. It's one of the world's great mysteries. But anyway, that's the other one I took out. Vice grips. And the threads, I've cleaned this up. It looks like a machine screw that's been cut down, right? That thread did screw back in the doohickey, right? So the fan goes on the end here, and the two screw, I've only got two hands. That fan fits on there, right? And those two screws fit in there. The threads seem to be okay. So I'm going to grease this back up again, and I'm going to fit the new fan if I can find machine screws to fit, because I'm assuming they're Whitworth, right? And then I'm going to fit it back in again. Now, here's another piece of the puzzle. Look at this bottom pulley. See it wobbling? That should not be wobbling, my friends. I need to come down here and try and get a picture of that, the front of that pulley. Maybe I can get a picture. Is that it? That has to get tightened up. I think that's the end of the crankshaft. Am I being stupid? Or is that the end of the crankshaft? It looks like the end of the crankshaft on that pulley, right? That should not be loose. God help us if that's loose, right? So I'll tighten it. I'll try and tighten it and see what happens. The good news is the cylinder head gasket worked. I don't think that was the root cause of the problem, though. Anyway, more to come. Talk soon.